This is WTCSB Manager's Information Technology Guide, something I created. What's the next slide? So we're going to review Microsoft 365 applications, which consists of Outlook, Teams, OneDrive, and a SharePoint. Storage and saving documents, the best way to utilize your local hard drive space and how to utilize your best OneDrive, and how to integrate your Credible calendar with your Outlook. Not everybody use Credible, but I know some people do. So it'll be a good way to integrate your Credible calendar with your Outlook. And just general troubleshooting tips. I'm trying to make it quick as painless and boring as less as boring. All right. So just because I'm showing you one way how to do it right now, there's all roads lead to Rome. Just because I'm showing you one way, there's another way that y'all could do it. There's multiple ways I could do these things. Many ways to skin a cat. You know, all them good sayings and stuff. So just know, just because I'm showing you this way, there's multiple ways you could do it. All right. So we're gonna talk about a Microsoft 365 suite at first. So the Microsoft 365 suite, it gives WTCSB our domain. So anytime that you see at WTCSB, it's because we have a license with the Microsoft 365 suite, which gives us access to the PowerPoint, SharePoint, Word, Teams, OneDrive, things of that nature. So anytime that you log in or y'all put a ticket in and y'all say my password not working, and we're trying to figure out what password you're talking about. You're talking about the boot password, you're talking about the Chronos password, you're talking about your Reliance password, and you're talking about your Microsoft password. That's what you're talking about. So anytime you think about when you're first logging in and it says other users or it says for your username and password, that's your Microsoft 365 password. Okay. So just to specify, if y'all put a ticket in, y'all forget your password, just specify what password it is. All right. So, but anytime that you're on the internet, you're on Google Chrome, and they're asking for a password for you to log in for your SharePoint, your OneDrive, just think about the password you use every time you log into the computer. Not your boot password, but your other user's password. Any quick questions? Oh, all right. Good. Okay, so Microsoft 365 is good to use because there's native apps and there's web interface apps. So the web interface apps, that's when you go into Google Chrome. A lot of people, they use Google Chrome just to go into their Outlook, just to check their OneDrive. They use Google Chrome, just the web version, just to just do certain things. But we're going to be talking about using the native application version. So that's the application that's installed on your computer. It might be a little desktop icon for your Outlook, for your Teams, and for your OneDrive and things of that nature. So the web interface is nice because you could be on any computer you like. Let's say you're on vacation or something, and your staff might need a quick document that's only in your OneDrive. You could log into your Microsoft 365 real quick on any device, and if your files are backing up, Ms. Karen said no.
No.
Okay. IT says no. Oh, West Tower says no. Yes, you're right. But just in case, if emergency situations. But if you need to log into your Outlook or anything, if you don't have your Western Tower with a computer with you, you could do that, and that's what makes 365 so powerful. And we could use it anywhere, essentially anywhere from any computer with the internet connection. So, like I said, the web interface and the native interface, it's a little different because the native interface that's installed on the computer is a little bit more powerful. You have more tools and more accessibility options than the web interface. The web interface is just basic functionalities. Okay. So I know, like I said, I know a lot of people use Google Chrome a lot of people use Google Chrome to check their Outlook messages, but try to use the native Outlook app just because it has a little bit more functionality. So we're going to start talking about Microsoft Outlook first. All right. So some people Outlook may look like this. Different strokes for different folks. Mine don't look like this. It doesn't have the reading pane on the side. Usually when yours look like this, You got to click on the message twice, another window will pop up, and so you can read the message. When you click reply, another window will pop up, and now before you know it, you got 100 Outlook windows up. So we're going to talk about how to we're going to talk about how to change this. So anytime that you're open up Outlook and for some reason that your Outlook is changed, we're going to talk about how to change that. And like I said, just because your Outlook look like this, it isn't wrong. I just don't personally. That's not how I roll. All right. So when we talk about creating a signature in Outlook, does everybody in here typically has a signature in your Outlook? So we really don't have to go through this. All right. Okay. A good thing for your signature to have first name, last name, organization, like program that you're in, your agency cell phone number or your office cell phone number and the extension, and maybe your email address. I created this. I have a quick video in here on me creating a signature. So I'm going up to the file tab on the top left. I'm gonna go down to options. I'm gonna click on mail, and then I'm gonna click on create or modify signatures. I actually recorded myself talking on this stuff, but I don't want to hear myself, so I'm just redub it. So this is my signature I already have created right here. I mean, you could get real nice with it. You see, I got my picture and stuff out there. If y'all want tips, see me after class. But so I just created a signature right here. If I skip through it, it's going to start from the beginning. So I'm gonna just let it play real quick. But so yeah, just first name, last name, your program, contact information. Those some good things to have signature. And we just gonna click next. So everybody has a signature here. Everybody, we all good. We are following me. Okay. So we was talking about the interface. Your interface is important because it allows you to efficiently manage and organize your emails, calendar, events, tags, and contacts. All right. Nobody wants to go on your, well, I don't know about you. I don't want to go open my Outlook and everything sorted by size or something like that. It's not sorted by date. It's sorted by all Lara emails coming up first. Lara's a very important person, but I got some other things I gotta get done. But yeah, so we're just gonna talk about how to efficiently sort your email view. So there's everybody Outlook view. I know everybody's probably look different. I'm gonna do a little. Everybody open up your Outlook real quick. I just want to see Miss Williams over here. She used the Google Chrome Outlook version. So we're gonna try to get you moved on to the native app. If you don't have your computer open, it's okay. It's okay. Oh, so we need you on IT. We need you on IT. We might need you to transfer over. See, I see a lot of people using the Google Chrome. This is the web interface. So when I talk about the web interface, that's this is right here. It's okay when it doesn't have the functionalities like the regular Outlook app. So real quick, I'm gonna show you guys what the Google Chrome what I mean when I say Google Chrome and when I say Outlook app. So real quick, when I say that you using the web interface to access your access your Outlook, that means you're going through Google Chrome, that means you're going through Mozilla Firefox, that means you're going through Internet Explorer. So you're going through the internet, the web browser to get to your emails, and which is nice, but like I said, it has more functionality when you use the native application. And then sometimes Google Chrome could be more resource hungry. When you have a bunch of tabs open and stuff like that, it uses more memory, uses more resources in your Google Chrome than using the native app. So that's another reason you might want to use. So right now I'm in SharePoint. A lot of people might just go through SharePoint to get. Oh, I don't know how to. Hold on, but. Okay, so right now. I'm in SharePoint right now. A lot of people might go through SharePoint just to get to their email. No,
I don't. I'm just saying I don't.
okay, but a lot of people when they go through Google Chrome, they might just come here and click on Outlook, click the waffle, and they go to the Outlook. And like I said, this is nice to have. Make sure ain't no pertinent information. I get a lot of crazy stuff in here. So this is nice to have, but like I said, this is the web version. So I'm in Google Chrome and I'm viewing my Outlook calendar, my emails. Like I said, this is nice to have, but it's better if you use the native app. So the native app usually is saved on your desktop somewhere. You could create rules, you could create your folders in your native app, and you have more functionality in the native app. So, like I said, this is all right, but you want to use the native app. Yes, ma'am.
Isn't it the native app only that you can like send the away email?
Yeah, you can set your away emails up, stuff like that. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's all the actual Outlook icon. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I think picture-based program versus
Right. So think of app like an app on your phone. When I say app, it's like instead of your Facebook app. So if I had a Facebook icon on my desktop, that would be my application. So that's the Outlook app. So when I say native app, it's this native Outlook application right here. I didn't go to Google Chrome. I just clicked on the application and now I have the icon on the bottom of my screen. So that's when I say native app, that's what I mean. All right. So we was talking about changing our Outlook view. Like I said, everybody's view looks a little different. Um, but I like having a reading pane to the side. I like having my folders to the left side, so I don't have to click into the message for a window to pop up. And because sometimes you get like a bunch of different windows and it can get real cluttered real fast. But these are just quick steps on how to change your view. Anytime you open Outlook and for some reason your view changed and you can't see your from or the it just might be sorted wrong. This is the way you could do it. I have a quick video right here. Like I said, I muted the video so I won't hear myself talk. But I open my Outlook. And for some reason it looks like this. You'd be surprised on how many tickets get like this. And it's just a simple fix. So I open my Outlook and it looks like this. Real quick, real quick, can somebody tell me in 3 steps or less how I would change this?
from you right click and then sort by, and then you can choose date, size.
That's one way. If you wanted to sort it, these columns right here, if you wanted to sort it a specific way, you could do that. 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, people want it, but people want the newest emails at the top. Okay, so there's a little short video on how I added my reading pane and my inbox folder to the left, my reading pane to the right. So, like she said, we'll go to the top bar, to the top where it says File, and we're going to click on View. And you see it says Reading Pane. You want to click on that and click on to the right. And now we have the reading pane to the right. So anytime you click on the message, it has a preview of the message to the right instead of actually clicking into the message. And now I clicked my folder pane to the left. So now I have my inbox folder and everything because sometimes it disappears and we're all in the tizzy. We're like, where my inbox went? And it's just simple clicks and we're back. Is everybody familiar with creating folders in Outlook? Yeah, for the most part. So it's a good way to create folders in Outlook, because if you create folders in Outlook, let's say me personally, I is everybody badge activated? Yeah, everybody could get in present time. So anytime I get new badges from HR, Ariane, Lara, Alicia, Taya, I get a it moves into my badge activation folder. So I never miss anybody getting new badges so I can activate their badges. Sometimes I do miss it. I'm just being honest. Okay. Y'all didn't get fired. We still want y'all here. We still want y'all here. It's just I missed the badge. That's it. But it's a good way to organize your emails. If you receive a lot of emails from a particular vendor, a particular person, or just a particular group, and you just want to create a folder in your inbox folder so it doesn't crowd up your inbox folder, you could do that, and we could create a rule. So anytime that this person emails you, you create a rule, and it automatically forwards it to your to that particular folder. Okay. So this is a quick video on how I created a folder. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, we're gonna get to that too, because and the rules get very detailed. So yeah, we're gonna get to that. So right here, I'm just in my inbox folder. I right click my inbox. I'm gonna create a folder called Credible, I believe. Yeah, I create a folder called Credible, and the next slide, I'm creating a rule. So anytime I get a email from Mitzi or Shannon Saunders, which is on the Credible team, it's going to move into the Credible folder. So this is a quick way you could use that to utilize the rules. So I right click where I want the folder to be. I right click. I'm just naming it Credible. I hit enter. I clicked into the folder. There's nothing in there right now. Yeah, y'all with me? Y'all with me? Everybody good? Anybody? We have any questions? No? Okay. So we're talking about this slide. We're talking about Outlook rules. Creating a rule in Outlook is, like I said, if a particular group person send you an email, it will automatically forward it to the specific inbox, or create a rule that you might need. Like I said, I get emails from HR regarding badges. Anytime somebody from HR emails me and the subject says activate badge or badge something, or something with a badge, it goes into my badge folder. So I automatically knows that I have to activate a badge. So for this particular rule, I'm creating a rule that anytime I get an email from the Credible team, it's going to go into my Credible folder. So right now I'm clicking on, I'm in my Outlook, I'm clicking on File, I'm clicking on Manage Rules and Alerts. And I also want to make a disclaimer. Everybody Outlook may look a little different. Some people might have Outlook 2016. Some people might have Outlook 365. Some people might have that new Outlook that everybody has, or the new Teams and the new OneDrive. But it's usually the same thing on every native program. It might just look a little different. So right here, this is the rule template, the rule box when you create a new rule. It has a bunch of different templates in here. So it says this is the rule wizard. Select a template. Move messages from someone to a folder. So I clicked on that first template, apply this, and it says apply this rule when the message arrives from people or public group. So I clicked on people or public group, everybody from the agency that's in our domain popped up. I'm typing in Shannon Saunders, and I'm typing in Mitzi. So any emails that I get from these particular, and this is just one specific example I'm using to utilize the rules. And it says apply those rules after a message arrives from Shannon Saunders or Mitzi Carpenter and move to the specific folder. So the specific folder I'm gonna move into is the credible folder that I created in the previous slide. And like I said, the rules could get very extensive. Like you can add exceptions to the rules. If you could add if it's marked as important, if it has specific words in the body and the header, if it has specific words in the sender address. So you just got to tailor it to your need. So I added from when the mail comes from Shannon or Mitzi and with specific words in the subject, which was I added credible. I'm clicking next. I'm just going to finish creating my rule. These are any exceptions. I'm not adding any exceptions to the specific rule. Like I said, it could get very detailed. And I'm just naming this my credible rule. And it's good. But now you see I'm in my credible folder, and everything that was in my inbox, it went into my credible folder. So this is something you could utilize rules for. Except for your specific teams, any specific vendors you use, anybody who just blow your inbox up, that's just junk, create a rule for them. Get them out of there. Get them out of there. So we're going to talk about creating groups in Outlook. So it's nice to create a group in Outlook because once you create a group in Outlook, it syncs across the whole 365 platform. So once you create it in Outlook, you could go into your OneDrive and use the same group. You could go into your Teams and use the same group. You could go into anything that 365 utilizes, use the same group, ma'am.
The group, right?
Yes, ma'am.
It got deleted. Deleted. But it ain't there no more. Like I did one for my clinicians.
Right. What did you create it in? Did you create it in Outlook or did you create it in Teams? Like Outlook? You sure you ain't deleted?
Yeah, when I went in to do another one, it said that I didn't have permission to.
Okay, so we'll take a look at that. Well, we not everybody, but if you had time, we're gonna create a group in here for you and your staff, so we could just go through it. So this is a quick little video on how I created groups. So I created a group for me and the IT team, and these groups that I'm creating, these are your groups. So just because you create a group, if Amanda created a group, Crystal not gonna be able to see it. It's only her group and her Outlook calendar. So, but you can share a group that you created. Let's say y'all work on the same team. You created a group already. You wanted to share the group. You could share it with her so she has access to that group. All right. It's just better instead of when you write an email in, you got to put 10 emails in there. You just write the name of the group, and all the 10 emails will populate in the group. So, real quick, does everybody have their Outlook open? If you don't, it's okay. Yes, ma'am.
When you were going with bio, I almost don't have it. So we gotta go to the file to get the group together. I don't have it.
So, Yeah, like I said, everybody outlooks look different. If you have a newer outlook than I personally do on my. That's why it looks different. So we're gonna create a group real quick. All right, y'all try to follow along with me if y'all can. If y'all don't have your computer on, y'all could find a friend. All right, so I'm in my calendar. Like I said, I'm in my Outlook. Not everybody Outlook looks the same, but to the left hand side, you might see a icon that says people or groups. Okay, so when you're a people or group, you should see an icon that says new contact group. It might not have an icon there. It might have a um like a drop down menu, and you click on that. Have to click on new contact group. Yes, ma'am.
Get the instructions
Yep.
somewhere.
Yeah, they're gonna be posted on the SharePoint also. So if you don't want to follow along right now, that's fine. It'll be located on SharePoint also. A new contact list. Like sometimes the verbiage might be different. Like I said, everybody has a different outlook. Yeah, new contact group. Yeah. Okay. Here's a little different contact. So where it says name, you can name your contact group to anything you would like. You can name it just your staff. Everybody has different programs. I'm not familiar with everybody's names, but for this test, I'm gonna name it IT group, and then I'm gonna add my members. I'm gonna add my members from my address book, and then everybody that's in the WTCSB domain should pop up. I'm gonna add David Hopkins. I'm gonna add Wayne. Not Dwayne, but Wayne. I have Valerie. I'm going to add myself. So I added 4 members to a specific group. I'm going to hit OK. And then I named it IT group. So once you added all your members and everything is in there, click on Save and Close. So it should populate this group into your people's contact list, and it's right here, IT group. And now if I wanted to, I could just click on Send Email, and it will populate everybody that's in the group. Save and close. Can't add yourself on the part of the group. So, yeah, it looks like you a copy of it. Yeah. So if did you what did you save it as? Type. Okay. So, yes, Winter.
Do a re-listing.
Oh yes, you could turn your read receipts on, but it's up to the end user to have that turned on. Because you could turn it on, but if I don't have my read receipts on, you never know it on.
So.
It's up to the end user.
They can prove that they got it anyway. You can turn it on, right, and there's ways to get around, even if they, their phone is their computer, you can't see, and it don't pop up. Well, I don't know why I can't see that. Good. Right. I read the process. Yeah.
Did everybody get their group created?
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's go back to like we're composing an email. So go back to your main Outlook, like you're composing an email. Click on new email. And then in the to section of your email, type in the group name that you created. So now you don't have to keep on typing 100 names into your Outlook.
That's really one of the quick steps, but they didn't be better done.
It's all roads lead to Rome. Just cause, yeah. So you have everybody has multiple ways they create their own groups. But let's say that you're in OneDrive and you want to share a specific document, a specific folder with the group. You could just let me see. Show y'all real quick. So let's say if I wanted to share this. So I want to share this this Kronos agency phone. My OneDrive is acting funky. So yeah. But yeah, you could use that specific group anytime that you want to share something, you want to email. Just use the same group that you named, and it will be easier for you to share or email those particular people. But yeah, everybody out looks a little different. So you will click on home, click on new contact, click the drop down arrow, home, new contact, and new group. So you name your group, and you can add your particular staff that you want in that group. Yes, ma'am. Your outlook looks a little different. It won't let you create a group. We'll just name your group. Okay. So we're going to be moving on to the calendar calendar tips. Everybody good? Everybody ready to roll? Are everybody with me? Am I losing anybody? Nobody sleep? Had a long weekend? All right, we all good. So yeah, we're gonna talk about a calendar. Everybody should be utilizing calendar these days. Like I told the last class, before I started working here, I was never using a calendar. But now it's not on my calendar, you're getting lost. Like if you didn't book anything with me, I don't probably forgot, and I might catch you. Book me on my calendar. So yeah, it's just nice to have a calendar. You can schedule and have time management, setting reminders. You can share your calendar with your staff, or your staff could share your calendar with you, so you could see what they got going on. You can have recurring events and appointments. You can invite people to meetings, and you could have color coding and categorization. Pretty basic. Pretty basic. Get to the next. Is everybody familiar on creating an event in your calendar? Everybody knows how to create an event on the calendar, right? Okay. Does everybody know that when you create an event in the calendar, the default is going to set a Teams link? So do we know how to turn off the Teams link when you create an event? Because a lot of people they send events on calendars and they invite people and they think it's a Teams meeting, and it's the whole time you got to meet them in Northgate somewhere. And now we all looking crazy. But yeah, so just know that when you create an event in your calendar, make sure you disable the if it's not going to be a Teams meeting, make sure you disable the Teams. So I'm gonna show you how to do that real quick. Like I said, everybody outlook may look a little different. This is my calendar.
Also happens when you schedule Zoom meetings, the team late, and then you have half the group join the teams and half the other half join in Zoom. So turn it off.
So I'm gonna schedule a new meeting. Clicking on new meeting. So if you could tell, it says Microsoft Teams meeting right here. Unless you want to host a Microsoft Teams meetings, you want to turn that off. So if you have a meeting on site with somebody, just turn that off because it causes a lot of confusion. Right here at the top, it says don't host online. So usually when you create a new event, it's usually default to hosting online. So when you before you send this out, click on don't host online. And you see the Teams message disappears. So it's not going to send them a Teams link no more for that specific time. It's just going to be a regular meeting.
Why not default?
Exactly.
I have to click the different things to make it.
Okay. So you're good. But like I said, sometimes people do it. Sometimes newer computers do it. Yeah, but sometimes, usually it does that. Especially these days, it's a lot of virtual. A lot of people meet virtually. A lot of people out of the office. So when you want to create a meeting, you want to click on New Meeting. Make sure if it's not a Teams, if you don't want to host a Teams meeting, make sure you click on Don't Host Online. Make sure you click out of that. You want to put a title to your meeting. We'll put IT meeting. Your required are your attendees, people you need to need to be here. I'll put David, Wayne, and optional people. We all know that if you need to book a room, is everybody familiar about booking a room? No. Okay. So booking room is just like creating a meeting. Where it says location, you want to click on location, and then all the rooms that we have in Western Tidewater that you could book, will pop up. So we have Franklin Treatment Room 1, 2. We have the Harbor View rooms, the Northgate rooms, Godwin Small Conference Room. So let's say if I wanted to book a room with David and Wayne, and I wanted us to be in Northgate in one of the treatment rooms. I'll click on treatment room 2. I'll click OK, and I will book it. I'm booking it for, let's say, Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Yeah, yeah. Once you send it out, like at the top it says you haven't I haven't said this appointment conflicts with another one on your calendar. So I got something else going on my calendar. So it's telling me. But once I send it off, it's going to send a email to the treatment room 2, and if it's canceled, I will get an email that it can't schedule to that room because something else is going on. So I just booked it. I forgot what day did I book it. Oh, when? Thank you, thank you. 27th, Harbor View Treatment Room. Okay, I just got an email. There are conflicts. So it says your request was declined because there are conflicts, and the conflicts are there's a Mickey Matthews scheduled for that room that day. All right. So anytime that you book a room, and be on lookout for the acceptance or the decline of that room. It should be, because once you're part of the domain, the Western Tower domain, you should have access to all the rooms. Mm-hmm.
So I have to add locations. Like
Yeah.
I only Harbor View, so I only have Harbor View.
Okay. I can say
I don't know how I did it.
To add a calendar, it's at the top. Go to add a calendar, and then you pick. It should show up in that drop down. Okay.
everybody's a little different.
Lara,
You can go.
can you say that again?
Okay, here. Go up to the top where you would
You'll see all.
share your calendar with someone. Do add calendar.
I don't know.
And all the calendars should show in that drop down for the rooms. And then you would just have to add that particular room.
In the meeting. In the O or new, oh yeah, she'd know.
Was everyone able to, I guess, schedule a meeting? And if y'all wanted to book a room somewhere, y'all know how to book a room?
All the rooms that come up.
Okay. If you
I heard, Oh yeah, this one, I can't. I have it on the. I get to do it. I'm gonna ask them how to find it. Oh. Say, well.
Yeah.
So I can find it in the old version, but yeah. Yeah, I didn't say like any media people want. Yeah, I don't like it. Lana like that. I don't even have a thing about that. That's how you don't really have to put new meeting.
So what I'm realizing about my Outlook and people using the new Outlook, when I create a meeting, in my Outlook, I have to wait until I get a email back saying if it's declined or is being accepted. In the new Outlook, once you set your time and stuff, it tells you if the room is available or if it's booked right before you book it. So, like I said, multiple ways to skin a cat. Multiple ways to do it. So yeah.
It should tell you if you're trying to do a series of meetings, have reoccurring. It should tell you that the room is booked for one of the dates in your series. But what we're finding is it doesn't always do that. You get an acceptance, and the next thing you know, 3 weeks from now, you're double booked. That's multiple people. So just be careful when you're doing a series of meetings to make sure that it's free for the whole series.
And another way is to make sure that the room is not being booked is adding the specific room calendar to your Outlook. I personally I don't like having a bunch of things on my calendar. It's like too much anxiety, but you can turn it off, turn it back on. Is everybody familiar of sharing their Outlook calendar with your staff, or your Outlook your staff sharing Outlook calendar with them? Which is no? Okay. So you can share your Outlook calendar with your staff, so your staff know when you're busy, when you know when your staff is busy. I'm gonna go through that real quick. So I'm in my Outlook calendar right now. I'm gonna come up to the top. Like I said, it might look different on your computer. I'm in the calendar. Oh, I'm gonna click share calendar. I'm gonna click on my Western Tidewater account, and I can add a person that I want to share my calendar to. I share my calendar to Wayne and Valerie and Dave just so they know when I'm busy, what's going on. I'm gonna click add, and Western Tidewater domain come up for all the staff. If anybody you want to share your calendar with, this particular person I'm gonna use Alicia Williams. Hit OK. And then you could add permissions. You could add it so she could edit my calendar. She could delegate my calendar. She could just view when I'm busy or just view the location. So that's just something that you should utilize with your staff so you could just know what they got going on. Everybody should be utilizing the calendar. It's very helpful.
And when you share your calendar with your staff or have your staff share their calendar with you, make sure they're sharing the details and not just busy.
Yeah, make sure when they're sharing the calendar, when they're sharing it, the permissions, make sure it says can view all details. Just so like you could see everything, not just busy. It could be doing anything.
You click on their calendar, something popped up, but it don't pop up on mine.
Look at
See my calendar.
oh, it is pretty. See, this is the golden child of being very, very efficient and pretty. It's very pretty. It's very pretty. I'm kind of jealous now. Mine's just blue. Mine is blue and red.
Talking about like the view of your chair.
Yes, ma'am.
It's more detailed, and mine is not. As far as like what's on there, do you see the difference?
Hey, Miss Larry, on 5-minute break.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a
5-minute break. I've been putting people to sleep.
Yeah, no, he couldn't fall asleep.
Everybody need a few minute break? Minutes. We just watch the movie. Okay.
Okay, but you got it.
No.
Yeah, that's why, yeah.
Because it's printed up mulch.
Still have, she can wait 2 years for free.
Okay.
So, yeah, my son. So, this was everything, all of it. Yeah. Like, very,
Okay.
and, so he. Slack jaw staring at him, like, so, but they were very nice, you know. They just wanted to, you know, to look at him, take a picture. That's what they did. On side, yeah. Nothing funny. And then I was friends, everybody, well, they went to they would like everywhere they went, you know. They were like queen. Yeah, it's. That's contractor. He's been everywhere. He's like, I don't want to travel. Yeah. Yeah. About the same. Yeah. And if they don't, you gotta send it. And then you all there. And then not be like, man, I'm like, you should go. I'm like, no, that's the final. You can be right out.
And that's what our lady, they are different stuff, so. You know. Yeah, that's right.
No, yeah. And I think Mayor will register her too.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody, that somebody said it in the special one. I was like, well, when my girlfriend was sick, I was like, come with my son. It's like, I think it's kind of like, I like 3 ounces, but I think it's like 3 ounces. It feels lighter. And yeah, I think it was like a hot thing. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And young people.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Who's there?
Yeah.
Holder and I don't know, I don't see better. I like it because I guarantee you 40 ounce after two.
Love the, went on a train thing,
But-
there, and he loves Spain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was in preparation. Just because research and I don't know that.
I've got my front doors.
Yeah.
I do the 30 ounce though is like the way to go.
Just so you speak.
They both fit perfectly in my cup holder, like in my car, but it's just for me. I don't. I was gonna be like,
So once you do that, and especially because it's my
there's that worst, like, I was laying in bed like sick, my husband was full of hate and like, you know, like, a red soda cup, but I think oh, sorry. Under me when I was in the field. Like me in all the world. Yeah, right. After I was after Amy, I would go to Heather. Like so when Heather was like,
Ready? We ready? 5 minutes. I got less than an hour left. Well, hey, Miss Amy had to come up here. In less than an hour. I got most stuff to cover. Bear with me. It's not gonna be too much longer. All right.
Let's see there.
But so real quick, have y'all learned anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe wait till my breath. All right. Maybe just talk. Just talk. All right. So we're gonna be talking about just accessing the SharePoint. Right. I know usually when we set up the computers, we usually have a bookmark in the Google Chrome where it says SharePoint at the top of your bookmarks. Please use that instead of going to the WTCSB website to access your SharePoint. We just trying to get our numbers better with the traffic, because a lot of times staff, myself included, we'll go to the WTCSB website, click on resources and employee portal, and we go link directly to the SharePoint. We were just trying to stop that because it's showing that there's traffic going to our website, and then we're jumping right off. So it's looking negatively on the numbers. So if you can, just bookmark your SharePoint at the top of your bookmarks and access your SharePoint that way. It's a lot quicker, a lot less clicks. So does everybody have a SharePoint bookmark in their web browser? Google Chrome, Safari. That's 365. It should be a green icon. It should look like this at the top. See that green icon? You have that bookmark. You should, okay. I think that's the website. So you don't have the SharePoint there. Oh, no, no. Okay, so can everybody open up a new tab on Google Chrome real quick? Open up a new tab, Google Chrome, and type in the address bar at the top, type in westerntidewatercsb.sharepoint.com. Got it saved? Yeah, so if you got it saved, you're fine. You're fine. But this right here is just a URL link, just so anytime that if you don't have it saved, you can just go into this link right here, westerntidewatercsb.sharepoint.com, and it points you directly to the SharePoint. But like I said, make it easier for yourself and just bookmark it. SharePoint, getting there. Everybody has their bookmark. This is a short video on just how I bookmark my SharePoint. Going to the website. Skipped it. All right. So OneDrive. OneDrive is a good way to share your files. It's SharePoint is more organizational, and the OneDrive is more personal, more one-on-one, or just a more collaboration tool for you and your staff. If you have a particular Word document, Excel spreadsheet, PowerPoint, something that you're working on, you just need to share it with one particular staff, it's easier to do that with your OneDrive. And then instead of uploading to the SharePoint and everybody has access to it. So just make sure you're utilizing your OneDrive and make sure that your information is backed up on your OneDrive. On the bottom right of your computer, where your clock is, you should have a blue icon, a blue OneDrive icon. It might be grayed out, but it should be blue. If it's blue, that means your information is being backed up. So anytime that your computer breaks and y'all put a PO in and you have to get a new computer, and we ask that your OneDrive is being backed up, this is what we're talking about. Because it's easier for us when we get you a new computer, we can just log in with your Western Tidewater account. Your files will be backed up on your new computer. So just make sure your files are always being backed up on your OneDrive. So real quick, can y'all check the bottom right of your computer where your time is? There should be a blue icon there. And it should be the cloud should be blue. Everybody's good. Okay. This Cash. Good. Okay. Clary. Good. Clary Lines. My fault. My apologies. If it's not blue and it's grayed out, it's probably just asking you to log in. So you probably just have to make sure you're logged in with your Western Tidewater credentials. Because OneDrive is a part of the 365 application, which is your Western Tidewater at WTCSB.org domain. Okay. These are a couple of icons that you might see when it comes to your OneDrive. On OneDrive pause, a circular arrow on the OneDrive, that means just your files are syncing. Exclamation point, that means your account might need some attention. If you have a person next to your OneDrive icon, a file, that means you shared this particular file with a person. And a green check icon, the file is locally available on your computer. When it says locally available on your computer, that means the file is only on your computer. It's not shared in the cloud. So that means you can't access that file from anywhere. It's only saved on that computer. All right. So what that means is if I have a particular file that's only saved on my computer, that means I could, if I go on another computer, log into my Western Tidewater account, go to my OneDrive, that file is not going to be in my OneDrive. It's only going to be on this particular computer. Okay. So yeah, so to circumvent all that, just make sure your stuff is always being backed up. Yeah, Ms. Williams?
No.
What's going on?
Have all kind of issues over here. It's not you, it's the laptop.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so real quick, we're gonna talk about Microsoft Teams a little bit. Teams is good to have. I know a lot of people. We all use it to communicate with our staff and communicate with other people around the agency. Um, but we're gonna talk about how the best way to utilize it to have supervisions. How to import your a particular SharePoint folder into your Teams. So instead of going to the SharePoint every time that you need to use something, you could go straight to Teams and just pull it up to your Teams. So this particular video right here, I'm talking about creating a channel for. I'm acting like I'm a supervisor, but creating a channel for my team to have supervision. So right now, so if everybody could open up your Teams real quick. So a channel is a channel. I'm not familiar. I'm not too sure if anybody familiar with Discord here. Anybody familiar with Discord? Okay, it's what I want to say gamers use, but everybody uses it. It's a messaging system, right? So technically we have a channel, and then we're going to create sub channels. So right now I have my A Henry test channel, and I'm going to create a sub channel to my test channel.
Yeah, that's okay. I can get there.
Is it the new or the old team or doing math?
I think they both got the same way. So everybody open up Teams, and on your left hand side, it's on the left hand side it says Teams. Click on that icon. Okay.
But to remind everybody, if you're not following along with Andrea, please close your computers.
So open up your Teams. You want to click on Team on the left hand side and create. And you want to create on. I'm gonna just do it. You ain't gotta watch this video. I'm just doing it real time. Yeah, we're gonna talk. Yeah, we're gonna talk. I'm gonna talk y'all through it. So click on Teams on the left hand side. Click this plus icon. Click on Create and Join Team Channel, and click on Create Team. Okay, so everybody might look a little different, but you want to create from scratch. I know Jessica and the guy with team, y'all straight, cause y'all, I know y'all CRC chat be booming. Okay, so this particular team name, you could name it whatever your program name is, or
Is it private or public?
make it private. Make it private because you don't want Andrew Henry from IT jumping in your team. So yeah, you want to make it private. Team name, make it your team name. If you want to make it your program name is supervision or whatever you want to name it. So this particular, I'm going to name it IT team. You got a description. IT. I want to click create. I got a nice dialog box that says nice work. And it says type a name or email. So you can add people to this particular team. So I'm gonna be adding the IT team. Wayne, Valerie, and David. I'm adding the members. So now I have a channel that says IT team right on the left hand side. And I added those 3 members in the channel. They don't get a notification. But once you start typing in the chat and stuff like that, they'll get a notification that they're in the team and stuff. So now that we created a channel for our team, we're going to create a sub channel so we can have like private supervisions and private channels. So we're going to add a channel. Click on the highlight the team that you created. Click on the 3 dots that say more options. Click on add channel. And the channel name, I'm going to name this A. Henry Supervision. Description, I'm going to leave it optional. And the channel type, I'm going to leave it private. I'm going to create the channel. And then just add that particular staff that you want,
So you had to go to standard or superior?
private. Mm-hmm. So I created a separate sub channel for my team. And now in this particular channel, this says A. Henry Supervision. Only that particular staff that you added to that channel will get access to this channel in your teams. So anytime that you want to anytime you create supervision, anytime that you have a meeting with that person, you can just click on start a meeting with that person. It will notify them that somebody created a meeting. I'm gonna leave the meeting, but now it creates a running log of anything that you've done. You see, I created the meeting and I started and ended it. It has the time where I started it and that you could see the details in the meeting. Yes, ma'am.
Like a schedule for that or?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. So, and if you have recurrent supervision, you can send a schedule for that. And anytime that person will join the supervision, it will go straight into this particular channel.
Like, what if you, I guess, like when we have a meeting today?
In calendars. Yep.
Can you just one more time say, how do you create the sub channel? What do you?
Okay. So you will highlight the channel that you created, and then you hit the 3 little dots on the side, and then you will click on add channel. And then you'll name it if you want to name it for a particular staff or whatever channel you might want to name it for, and then you add that person in. Yes, you could also, if I'm in supervision, you see start new post. I call it like a timeline on Facebook, social media. It's a running log of anything that you've done with the person. So you click on start post, and you see you have a format. You could say meeting canceled. Just put something. And so it's a running log of anything that you do with that particular person. Any files that you share with the person will be in this sub channel. You could also click on the plus. You could add new applications to it. They have many different applications. I'm not sure what every one of those does or do. You can add a SharePoint library. So let's say for this particular person, I want to add a particular SharePoint library to that team. I'll click SharePoint. So it has the recommended pages, list, or document libraries. So what I would do, you click on any SharePoint site. And I was asking for a paste. It says paste a link to the SharePoint page, list, or document library. To Do y'all know what a URL is? Everybody familiar with a URL is and where to find a URL? Okay, so it's asking for the URL for the SharePoint document library that you want. So I will go into my Google Chrome and I would find the SharePoint document library that I want. So for this document library, I'm going to use IT incredible information. I'm going to do employee documents. I'm going to come up here and copy this URL. Come down to the teams and then paste my link into here. Click save. Now you give it a second. Anything that was in that SharePoint library is now in my Microsoft Teams now.
So update when things are updated.
Yep, it'll automatically update. So anything that somebody's working on, you having a supervision with somebody, you need somebody to jump into the files real quick and update something, y'all collaborating. That's the easy way to do it instead of having multiple windows and things like that. Okay. So we're gonna add. I'm gonna add another. SharePoint library so we can just get familiar. Want to click the plus, add tab. Want to click SharePoint. Want to click any SharePoint site. A lot of people, clinical operations. Let's say IDP documents. A lot of people use this. Copy this SharePoint link onto my Teams. I'm gonna paste it. And anything from IDE documents, and it's automatically updated. So anytime somebody, if you're working on something or you need access to something, it's right there for you real quick. And also, you can also, like I said, you can add different apps. You can add Word into the Teams channel. Particular Word documents. So there's just certain instructions. Just you could always collaborate better in the whole Teams channel. Everybody good? We good? Everybody got a following? Okay. No? Yeah? We're good? Okay. All right. So we're gonna talk about integrating your credible calendar with your SharePoint. All right. I mean, with your credible calendar with your Outlook. So not everybody use Credible. I particularly don't use it. I don't have any clients or don't have a caseload or anything like that. But if y'all can, if you're following along, can everybody log into their Credible phone? Y'all following along? I'm almost done putting y'all to sleep. All right, just bear with me now. Bear with me now. Bear with me. So when you're in Credible, you want to click on Schedule. Another once your schedule pops up, there's a little icon right here. It's a calendar with a green arrow. There's multiple ways you could import your Outlook calendar, your Credible calendar with your Outlook, but the easiest way is to click on the blue link that says Outlook calendar integration. Outlook calendar integration. Once you click that, you might get an error on the bottom right of your computer saying something went wrong with your Outlook, but it should still sync your Credible calendar up. So if you're in Credible, click on that blue link for me.
You don't have to.
Open the pick app.
Yeah.
Which Outlook? Click on that one. And click OK. It might not look like it's doing nothing, but once you click on go into your Outlook, that's it. So so yeah, the thing is, it's going to come up when you clicked on Outlook calendar integration. It's not going to automatically go into your Western Tower location. It's gonna have like a separate. It's gonna have a separate account that has your calendar there. But you can merge the two. You can merge the two. As far as I know, it's been an option since I've been here. I've been here for a year. So, so what was that? I'm sorry.
That don't matter.
No. Okay. So if you do it this way, you have to export it. But I say just hit this right here. And which one you need? The new one or the
Thinking about, I'm like, I don't have any.
get an error, but once you go right here, the calendar,
Oh, no.
Outlook calendar, I mean, incredible calendar.
Yeah.
Got anything on incredible calendar?
Yeah. Over here.
If you, oh yeah, you got some.
Oh, yeah, that is with you.
Oh, so from your credible.
Fine. Outlook. Yeah.
I think. No one knows not her out.
What's everybody? Okay. So you click on.
Even in your phone. I hate you.
I'm shaking.
It just, I usually have.
Leave that.
Yeah. Yeah. That was already up there. Microsoft. Like that. Like, I still get the
So like, when I think supporting the big deal there.
I understand. I kind of.
You know where they are, like, what is
Right now.
Mine.
okay,
After you get there.
not over it, yeah.
I tell you, it's like that money.
Yeah.
Don't say that. So all they really know is what they say in the note. They sort of come with their 10 years ago, going to the application to say they were the level just based on accurate. Sometimes you read it. And they say, well, that's the only thing they could choose. Acting for it.
Yeah.
Not like it really was.
I see a lot of people having issues with the new Outlook and importing the credible calendar. Yeah, a lot of people with the old Outlook is working fine, but the new Outlook, probably got to figure out a workaround on that. All right, you guys, I have 20 minutes left. So before we end it, before I finish it up, I just want to thank y'all. Hopefully, I learned something here today. Not just rambling. And
No, this was good.
It's very good.
and before I finish it up, we're gonna talk about some general troubleshooting tips for when you have issues with your computer. Rule number one: make sure it's on. Make sure it's powered on. All right. Make sure all your cords are plugged in. Make sure your charger's plugged in. And restart your computers off. All right. I know a lot of people, y'all like, just like me, sometimes you just close it up, ready to go, get up out of here, ready to go. Just restart your computers often, because I think of a computer as like your body, like processors your brain, Your motherboard is your neural system. Just imagine you was running 3 weeks straight with only 5 minutes of rest every night. Like, you're gonna be running sluggish too. So just make sure you restart your computer every night, all right? And real quick, just make sure you're running updates on your computer real quick. Everybody click on the start menu if you can. Click on the start menu and start typing updates. And one of the first options should say check for updates. It's an arrow, has it's like a rotating arrow. Just click on enter. Oh, hold on. Let me show y'all real quick. Let me show you. I want to come down to the start menu. I just type in updates. And the first one, it says system settings, check for updates. So Windows update. Some of y'all probably haven't had updates since 2020. So just sometimes just click on check for updates. Some of y'all might have a laundry list. Yeah, I might not have. Nah. Just do that maybe once a month. So just check for updates and restart your computer whenever you get a chance. Restart your computer almost every day. I know sometimes it's just easy enough to just put it to sleep. Like I said, that 5-minute nap is not for y'all doing Outlook, going through Chrome, do all this web browsing. It keeps all that temporary cache into the computer memory, so it slows your computer down. So just make sure y'all just restart your computer off. Okay. Did y'all click restart? Did you ever click on restart? I mean, check for updates. Y'all got updates. Y'all got updates. Y'all got updates. Okay. So just make sure when the updates are finished, just make sure you restart your computers. So you could restart it at the end of your shift whenever y'all clock out for the day. Just restart your computer, and that's it. I appreciate y'all. Hope I ain't boy y'all at that.
I want to add a couple things. For security, no B4. Y'all know what that is? No. Because everybody done the training. Required. Do it. The staff haven't done it. Please make sure your staff do it. It only takes about 30, 45 minutes to complete. The original message came from David. Other messages come from no B4. They get a reminder that they're delinquent. Ready to send out 169 people that have still not taken it. And it's been several months since we implemented it. So just make sure your staff have taken that. How many of you guys scan documents and then send them to someone else? It is a requirement to scan documents to yourself and then forward them to the recipient. HR gets them all the time from copier, printer, scanner. I can tell you that we delete them. They do not get opened. We don't try to figure out what they are and where they came from. If it comes directly from a copier, they get deleted. You guys should be doing that as well. It's a security risk to open an attachment from an unknown source. So if you have staff that keep saying, I've taken that training, I've sent that to HR, you might want to find out if they're sending it directly from a scanner. Because if they are, we're deleting it and we don't know that they took that training. So we're not marking it as complete. So just remind your staff of that. Any other security violations you see a lot?
Like the sector fishing. There's a that's not we'll get it on the back end. once we get it, we're able to delete every single message that was sent to everybody in there. So that's it's important for y'all to report any phishing. Just don't delete it. Just report it off.
If we click something and it's just like basically spam, but we're not sure, and we click fish, does it like mess anything up?
I don't think it's better for that than it's spam. So,
Right.
yeah.
It's safe to open it. Because I reported a couple that were funny. We get payroll and HR gets a lot of spam, or not really spam, it's a fish, telling us that somebody's changed their direct deposit. They look very legitimate. It looks like it's coming from you. And it tells us that, you know, I want to change my direct deposit to this bank. It gives us new banking information. So we usually report those as fish, all of them as fish, and then we'll get a message back and say, no, this is legit. Even when we get those, just so you don't feel unsafe with your direct deposit, even when we get it back that says that it's a good email, we still will reach out to you guys and say, hey, did you submit this? Especially if there's not a corresponding Chronos action, which there should be, you know, to change your direct deposit, we'll reach out to you guys and say, you got it. Ask you to submit it in Chronos. We get them frequently. Anything else? All right, we're going to take about a 15-minute break, and then we'll have Amy come up. And if you haven't signed the roster, do so. Doing work.
If he just doesn't wanna.
Yeah, so I don't
He just
want
doesn't wanna.
no, I don't want her angry.
No. All right, we're just gonna jump in. So, this just started coming up after. Good, okay. So I'm Amy. For everybody who doesn't know that, I think everybody has learned that by now. I'm the one through the presentation. I'm the Director of Quality Assurance. And I really enjoy it a lot. They asked me to do a presentation on developing organizational skills. We really kind of talked about management style skills. And it really kind of came down to, you know, what organizational skills can you guys use? And I really was very ill-equipped to do this presentation because I don't feel like it's an area that I'm expert in at all. And I like to talk about things that I feel like I'm an expert in, which is why I don't talk that often in presentations. But I was asked to talk about a few different, of course, the left the room. Now it's working. All right, so we're going to talk about 5 pretty distinct topic areas. Decision making, so delegating and prioritizing as a manager, as a supervisor, as an admin. Those are very important details, not necessarily to reduce your workload, but to help others on your team grow and thrive. And it's not because they want to take your job, do it better than anybody else, but because sometimes we just need to take one of the 100 hats that we're wearing off and give it to somebody else for a minute. We're going to talk about time management, time wasting behaviors. My favorite part of kind of putting this together for everyone was doing the research behind time wasting behavior since COVID specifically. And so we're going to talk primarily about the telehealth, emails, Zoom meetings, things like that. And I mostly have really good statistics that I was really excited about because they were kind of funny, and I took the time to look at my own schedule and my own time wasting behaviors throughout this and kind of talk to my team, and it was a lot of fun. Structured responses, emails. When they put that in there, I think everybody when they announced who was doing all these trainings, I think I got the biggest laugh about email etiquette because some of my managers will know that they'll call me back or I send an email. They'll be like, I think you were hot during that. And you sent that email. You were a little hot, weren't you? I was like, yes, I was. You could tell by tone, by how things are written. And so we're going to talk a little bit about some just response etiquette for you guys, but a lot of things that you can pass along to your team, but just how to be appropriate and respond, especially as we are growing and we become more involved in the community and maybe community partners. Here to supervise, learn those boundaries. A lot of times we have staff that move from a peer to a supervisor role, a friend to now a manager. And how do we sort of handle that? That's the one area in here that I've researched, and I was like, I completely disagree with everything that's said. And you're going to see why in here, because I really did disagree with a lot of what I found they made recommendations on. It's not real life. We're humans for a reason. And then interagency networking, so collaboration. We're going to talk a little bit about silos. We've heard our director of business development talk about our silos of excellence and really what that means. And I'm not going to talk about what that means because I don't really know what that means. But it's a really nice word that he likes to use, or term that he likes to coin. But we will talk a bit about our silos just as an agent. So we're just going to jump in. It's kind of weird. But okay. So decision making, prioritizing and delegating. As managers or as leadership, you guys cannot do everything. We do need to work on prioritizing our personal lives, our professional lives, figuring out how to do that in a manner that works for you. If we don't learn how to delegate, you will continue to wear those 10 or 15 hats that we all wear. We won't ever have an opportunity to grow our staff if we don't try. And so want to be an efficient, cohesive team, and delegating tasks your team is a great way of doing that. Just so everyone, I see people writing, you will have a copy of this presentation, but just in case. I didn't feel like you have to write everything down. Oh, see. Okay. So delegating. One of the big questions is, what do I delegate? And it may seem really straightforward and simple to think like, what do we pass off to somebody else? Well, I'm going to start with the what don't you delegate? If it's critical to your task, it's something that your director or your administrator said you are doing this, and you guys know who you work for, and they would be upset if you pass it off to somebody else just to pass it off. If it's never going to happen again, if it's a one-time situation, it's gathering data, it's creating a report, it's typing up a procedure or policy. It's a one-time thing that you might never have to do again. You might want to go ahead and take it. And then it's going to take longer to train someone. We've, I think, all been in a situation where it's just easier to take care of it ourselves because it's going to take me longer to train someone. But use that as an opportunity to do it yourself, get it done, either have somebody shadow you, and then before you have to do it again, train someone. Find the time to train. Because chances are it will happen again and you will need to train someone. So go ahead and do that now. So what you could delegate are things that don't matter who tasks. It is something as simple as gathering information in Credible, helping create an org chart, doing basic daily things or small little tasks that you guys need to do just to take some pressure off of you. It's an opportunity to allow somebody to grow. We all have staff that want to grow, they want to learn, and this is a great way to help them do that. We consistently receive feedback that, managers don't engage enough. They don't want somebody to thrive enough. And we get people leaving because there's no growth opportunities. Well, in the agency, a lot of people know that you could transition from place to place to place to place. But some people want to stay where they're at. They just want to they just want to grow, or they want to be able to do more. So it's a great opportunity to allow them that opportunity to do that. Again, if the task is going to happen again, sure, train someone, you find the time to train them, and then help them do it. Or let them watch you do it. Train them while you are doing the task. And then again, if there's enough time to delegate the job effectively, and that's the most important part we're going to get into is the communication of delegating a task. Oftentimes isn't clear. So does anyone in here find it easy to delegate? Easy? You guys find it easy to delegate? Easier. Why is it getting, what was challenging about it to begin with?
Well, because I think for me, a lot of the ladies that I managed, they were my peers at a certain point in time. So it was just and then I'm the type of person, I'll just do it myself. It's like if I do it and I know it's right, like even at home, I'm like that. But if I do it, I know that it's done the way that I want it done. But here, you get a lot of stuff on your plate. So sometimes you do have to say, okay, Brianna, I'm gonna need you to do this. I'm gonna need you to do that. So it's easier now than it was when I first started out.
But that different relationship, the dynamics of the relationship. Yeah. Well, I think I've worked with several people in this room in different capacities. And so your relationship with them changes. And so you do have to sort of feel it out and kind of figure out how to get in that groove of, I need you to do this. You just step up and do it. And then we'll talk about this later. Like, how do we form that into like disciplinary issues or, salary negotiations, because those are things that come with management. And Heather, you just do it for control.
In part, my husband doesn't even try to load the dishwasher. Like that's like, because he said, I know I'm not right.
Yeah. It's like this.
So full disclosure, I know who I am.
So maybe, so when I was looking at this, it was a really good opportunity to say, what do I do well? What don't I do well? And I'm a very controlling person, hence the QA title. And I'm like sort of by the book more so than I thought I was like earlier on, but I am now. And so part of what we work on is clear communications, those expectations. And you may do some of these. You may do none of these. When saying, this is what I expect, I need you to do this task for me, and this is what I need for you to do to get it done. And so clarifying those tasks, making sure you explain what it is. If you don't know what it is, don't tell somebody else to do it. That is a hard thing to do. When I say, I'm scratching my head because I don't really know what the full extent of this task is, but yet I'm going to push it off on somebody else. You set them up for failure. And it, not that anyone does it, but it gives us a way of saying, well, we told them to do it. But if I can say, look, I told them the task, I gave them clear understanding of exactly what needed to be done. We looked at the required outcomes, what I'm expecting to come out of this task or this project or this assignment, timelines of what needs to be done, not just it's open-ended, the constraints of it. Can I work with somebody? Can I work, do I have to work alone? Is there autonomy to it? What do we need to do? So if I can say, well, I've done all these steps and they still fail to get it done, I'm going to go to that person again. I kind of looked at a lot of what we do here. I find that we tend to go to the same responsible staff a lot of the time when we do delegate tasks. I saw a lot of head nodding. That seems to be true. Those staff, do you work on giving them work, and moving them up maybe into a team lead role or to another opportunity, give them more opportunities to shine. That's what we want to see. We also want to look at the people that maybe we don't look at too frequently and give them an opportunity. Hey, team, I need this task done. This is what I need done, outlining it. Is anyone interested? See who might step up. There are clearly going to be people that step up. And they may be people who want to avoid the work that they need to be doing. And so they want to step up to do this additional task. Or they're people who want to step up to do it because they want to grow, they want to improve their skills. And so being a manager, we kind of have to look at it both ways. Who's the scapegoat trying to get out of doing what they need to do, and then who is here to really improve what they're doing. So communication matters. So when you tell your husband, this is how I want you to load the dishwasher, you might just need to take pictures for him. So he knows this is how the dishes go in here.
But that's more trouble, and I should just do it myself. Because then, like,
But if you do it one time and you walk through the difficulty of doing it one time, sure, there's a little hassle along the way, but then maybe you can get somebody to help you do it later. I'm the type of person that I'm like, okay, this is how I want you to load this beverage fridge, and put all the stuff in here. And I've ended up doing it myself, and nobody else has to do it. So, showing them the expectation. It is a little bit of time and effort, but that's why we're managers, because we're here to invest in people and we're here to put in that time and effort. And yes, it is a hassle. Now, you've been married for how long? You don't necessarily need to put in that time and effort, but it might be worth it. So it's one less thing you have to do. All right. So time management, time wasting behavior. Some of my favorite parts of this are statistics, because I do really love the data. So I pulled these from Harvard reviews from about 2022 and forward because of how much life has changed since COVID. We do not email nearly as much, or at least I didn't, and I don't think we do. Email as nearly as much as we did with COVID. I know we don't shop at the same we did. So studies have shown the average employee spends 23 to 28% of their work week checking or writing emails. Does that sound about accurate for some of you? I feel like all day, every day.
Yeah.
Most of us probably are doing, most of us probably have Outlook open all day.
Yeah. All day.
And we're going back and forth.
All day.
We have it on our phone, our work phone's with us, and it's there and it's, open. So all day, every day. Whereas a lot of our employees don't. Some of our employees, check it when they can, or they don't have access to it, but we are constantly doing that. So imagine the pressure. In addition to everything else you're doing, you're also doing that. Studies have shown the average employee checks their email by phone or laptop an average of 36 times per hour. I was in like the 40 range, a little bit more when I checked it. And that's because of our multitasking. What did you check it? That was my question. Oh, every time I did it. To do this, I was like, I don't believe that. I was like, 36 times an hour seems awfully excessive. But the amount of times I was even in a meeting and I just kept going back and forth, or like something popped up on my phone. I'm like, oh, what's that? What's that? Yeah, I think I was around like 42. Yeah. The average employee spends 20 to 40% of their day multitasking. So that's switching from one task to another. And that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going from Outlook to Credible, Outlook to a Teams meeting. It may mean I'm in a Teams meeting and a manager meeting and I'm doing other things. It could be I'm here, but my mind is like, I need to take my child to the doctor after this meeting. So like, hurry it up. I forgot to go grocery shopping, or shoot, I forgot eggs. So don't forget to pick those up. So that's the multitasking. That's a lot of effort for our brain. And in addition to everything else, like we said, a lot for you guys to handle. But if that's for you guys, your staff are doing it too. So being present is really important. That's why, Lara said, last laptop use for these meetings is really helpful, because we know you're at least paying attention to something. Your brain may be elsewhere, but you're not on your laptop. And then the average employee since COVID has spent more than 40% of their work week in meetings. Of those, 50% might be considered unnecessary and wasteful of time. So I say, I'm not saying this is why not? But I would just say, raise your hand if in, last week you sat in a meeting and you were like, this is such a waste of time and this could have been an email. You people. You're not on camera, so you're not working. Last week, at any point, we sit in a lot of meetings that might be considered unnecessary. But why might they be considered unnecessary? If you've ever sat in a meeting that you're like, this was a waste of time. Why was it a waste of time? I already be aware of. Just rehash. Yeah.
Or did it help? It didn't help.
It didn't help. It wasn't relevant to you. It wasn't relevant. One of the things, and I mentioned it in last week's training, I love about working closely with service development is they come to meetings with agendas. I find people that are prepared with an agenda that even if you kind of go off topic or you add something here or there, you have something that you can rely on. Because we want to know that you are prepared and know what to expect and that I know what to expect. There's nothing worse when I go into a meeting and unfortunately in my manager's meetings, I'll be like, sorry, I forgot to prepare something this week. It's been a busy week. And that happens. But if we know, I go person to person, what topics do you have to discuss? And I add them to the agenda before we get started. And I try to stick to it. I do have some new business that maybe we'll add at the very end if time permits, but I'm very conscientious of time so that we don't have to go over and I'm not running into other things that other people have to do. And if you're in management, studies show that you spend more than 23 hours of your work week just meetings. I know I have 3 days alone and I'm sitting in 8 hours of meetings all day. And that's just 3 days. I still work the other 2 days. So it's just a lot sometimes. Studies have shown 67% of your staff are completing other tasks while in meeting. Probably. What do you do about it? What can you do about it? Do you know it's happening other than just assuming it's happening?
I make mine feel really uncomfortable.
I feel very uncomfortable.
So if they're like on their phone and I'll just stop talking. If they don't like, is everything okay? And then they'll put their phone down and then the meeting will begin again.
So we'll be talking about this at some point. Maybe I already forgot what part of the presentation it's in. Do you find, is that in person or via like Zoom or Teams?
It's in person.
In person. Okay, so that works in person. I was going to say I'm interested to know how much more controlled you can be and feel live and in person than you could like via Teams or Zoom. I bet in person would be, you have a little bit more control as a manager.
That they're looking at you and you can see what they're doing. I think if you look at you and looking at credible at the same time.
And you wonder how much of your staff are more respectful face to face with you and conscientious that you see what they're doing, you know what they're doing, then you might be, yeah. But I can also catch people that are on Teams or Zoom and that they got glasses on and their screen's flipping. I'm like, I know you're not paying attention. I can see the glasses. We're not like some of them are watching I know it's blinking lights. So I'm like, I know you're doing something. Studies show an average of 50% of meeting time is spent on irrelevant topics. This came up in the last meeting that I thought it was a really good place to begin. Another area that we're going to talk about is that we are humans, and sometimes we do need that. It gave me that perspective that we do need that time to open up a meeting with, how are you? I know you were out sick. How are you feeling? How's your family? Because we are human. We are not robots. And sometimes it's okay to have those meetings as long as your meeting still stays on cadence, stays on time, and it keeps it moving. Versus, 15, 20 minutes in, you're still talking about how the potluck was last weekend, and you haven't gotten down to what you need to get down to. It happens. We've sat in meetings like, I promise you, we have. And so knowing what the invitation is for and being able to be respectful and say, all right, so we're just going to get started now. I'm glad everyone, this weekend was great. I'm no different than a good therapy session. We're not going to spend the full hour talking about, how your weekend was. Because it's sort of irrelevant to why you're here. We might touch on it for a second. Was it good? Was it bad? Stressful? Have any panic attacks? No. And keep it moving. Get right into what we're doing. The majority, and they say 86%, believe that technology has improved our communication, including like remote colleagues. Most of our staff are somewhat remote, maybe not 100% remote, but in some part remote. But this continues to result in some more off-topic and more casual interactions in meetings. Again, we're not face-to-face, we're not in person. Why do you think that is?
Things in the background. Things in the background going on, you know, you might, somebody's dog walk by, like, oh, look at you.
That's frustrating. And most of us have understanding. Kids in the background. Look, back in the day, if before I had children, if I had to take time off every time my child was sick, I might as well just quit my job. I would just quit my job because I would be out sick like every week. But we have that flexibility and that grace. And so when I show up to work, I want to be present in meetings and doing what I need to do as much as possible because there are days when my child is running around screaming. And our agency, I feel like, has a culture where that's okay, that you can have that flexibility and that grace in your life because they still want you to come to work and they still want you to be a part of things. The dogs and cats, and I've had lots of things show up in front of cameras before. And it's all okay. It's all okay. You've come to work and you've put in the effort and it's okay. So I think some of that relationship building that we have, because we're a little bit more relaxed, it's nice. And only 17%, which is only, I really could have just taken that out, but the 17% still high of executives, and they categorize executives as supervisors, like in our case, administrators might be, and like directors, executive directors, believe their meetings are productive and valuable. This is largely, shouldn't be productive and valuable. Oh, maybe it is. Okay. Well, I just had to I was correcting myself. I read that twice. So only 17% believe that their meetings are productive and valuable because of poor planning or lack of preparation. 63% of those meetings don't have set agendas. And 37% still don't have agendas at all. So agendas, what do you guys use for agendas? I have a favorite agenda. You know, does anyone here set agendas for their meetings? Or not? I don't expect anything. No.
I have a running blog. Like I actually started before I was a manager because I would come to a meeting of supervision with a list of the care for me. And like with just like running things that used to be interesting now, it's like an online sticky note, like just things that come up. I'm like, oh, I need to ask about that, or it's not an immediate answer, or you know, that it's something that I need to bring up. So I kind of do that like just in 2 weeks between all the staff meetings, like I just like a running log, and then if there's something to circle back to, like I keep it one, and you know, so everybody else, yeah.
Based on like stuff to cover, stuff that this week. Then once we finish our meeting, always in like meeting minutes as a reminder of this is what we covered. But that's kind of rest, so if they need to go back.
8 minutes are great, especially it holds our staff just accountable. Because again, the biggest issue here is well, I didn't know.
Right.
Yeah, and something I've noticed, so like I'm going to assign our team for like annual supervision. Somebody has to make an icebreaker, and of course I'll go agenda, and then somebody takes the minutes. But I rotate the minutes in the icebreaker, and what I've noticed in taking the minute, what I'm like holding accountable, what I'm putting out, I want to make sure they understand and receive what I'm saying. Yeah. And so Heather may take the notes one way and then have the wrong information. I know you have. Somebody else may take it and interpret it a different way. So what I understand is, well, what I've gathered is that I want to make sure how I'm presenting that information, the whole entire team receives it the way it should. And I've realized they don't through assigning different people taking the minutes. So I stopped taking the minutes because first of all, I gotta, pass out the information and do the meeting. So I have the agenda, but I have other different staff taking the notes so I can see, and I know that some people take notes differently and understand the information that's been put out there differently as well.
Like the actors, I cannot do the actors. I've seen the minute. It's all actors. I'm like, I don't know what I mean. Is anyone in here?
I sat through Andrew's presentation when he was putting it together, he was, running stuff off of us. And one thing that I learned was the Teams. I did not know that you could keep running notes in Teams. And so I've started doing that and I really like it. We did an agenda anyway, and we have one of my staff that takes the notes, but I really like having it there because then I don't have to worry about saving it into the folder where it goes, and everything's right there. And the team has access to it too, so they can go back and review it as well if they need to. So I really like that. And I always end my meetings with calm, 30 or 60-second calm.
Yeah, when we're done with this, I can pull it up and show you. So that's what I was going to say. So I use Teams, and when I'm creating the meeting, you can send an agenda. And I add them. So like throughout the week, I'll be like, do you have anything to add to the agenda for our management meeting? And I just go in there and just type it out, and then the meeting notes or follow-up notes are in there. So at any point, I can go back and follow up on those things. With the agenda, you can check off what's been talked about, what has it, it'll cross it off. And if I don't talk about it, I just copy it onto the next meeting. And then I don't ever have to send out an email. This is what we talked about today. Find it in the meeting. Right there in the agenda. So I'm happy to yeah, let me see if I can. I have Teams. Okay, so I'll open up. So say I have a read. Oh,
The Microsoft Office Suite. I don't think it expired. I mean, how far back do yours go? Crystal just asked, do they expire at any point?
Not that I see. Now, what I did do is set up a file folder in Teams. I just copied over the minutes, and so it's like running along, even for like my safety committee, my incident committee. We'll do that. After that, because I don't want to mess everything. We'll come back to it. I open it for now. But that's really what I like to use Teams. It's simplified, so much fun. I don't have to keep sticky notes and a Word document with agenda, emailing back and forth. My team just goes and adds what they want right onto the agenda, and we get to what we can. I usually look at it and reorganize. It can be having incredible good stuff. Right. So, back to this. So, what are some ways that you can increase productivity at work? What strategies work for you? I put some up here, like deleting. Delete half the emails you get. Probably good, maybe some of us. Do the emails urgent or can be done quickly? Just respond. You just respond. Delegate. If email can be better dealt with by somebody else, I get emails that I do not need to be the one responsible. So I forwarded on to someone from one of my teams. It might be a client concern, it might be a call request, might be someone from our electronic health record team. And I'll send it out to people that needs to see it, like the one you guys respond. And one of them owns it. Delegate it. Setting aside time later to answer your emails that require a longer detail. We'll kind of talk about that, because setting aside time to answer, please answer them. There are a lot of people that don't answer their emails. And so it's important, especially for your staff, to read and answer their emails. We get concerned that staff don't read our emails because they're not responding to them.
48, or do we have any official?
I think we do have some official.
Yes, they have to. Everybody's responsible for checking emails at least one time during their shift. Now, for you guys and for your staff, that's probably not even enough. But we had to consider the agency as a whole. You got residential staff that work the floor that don't have their emails on their computer the whole time they're working. So for them to check their email more than once a shift is unrealistic. But for your staff, you can always set parameters for your staff that are different than the agency policy. You just have to make sure that they're aware what they are And when new staff come in, you got to make sure that they're aware. But yeah, the agency policy says they're required to check and respond to email at least once a shift.
I've seen a lot of performance growth plans and even letters of caution surrounding lack of response to email acknowledgement. And so some growth plan opportunities might be in such a way of saying, you will respond to an email within, especially if I know it's not somebody who's on your code, or sitting in court, or, for you guys, it might be in court for a long run. You will respond for emails within this amount of time, acknowledging the email. And giving a time frame you will respond, or something specific to that person, versus just everybody like a blanket thing for the whole team. But there are staff who definitely that you're gonna say you received this or acknowledge this, that I know you've done. The read receipts might be something that if you have staff that are unresponsive in a time that you set, it might be something you are going to yes that you've read these emails. Now we can go reference. We've had many investigations where I can easily pull that they've seen. So they've seen it, they've read it, they've opened it. So staff really can't get around with the, well, I didn't know because I didn't see it, especially if it's on the issue. And we'll kind of talk a little bit about our computers because everything that happens on our devices is agency property, and just know that everybody sees everything, and they do. So some time management tips. Other than needing a break, because I'm pretty sure we all do, assess how you spend your time. Thinking about really what is helpful for you, what do you have to do, your job in general. Assess the time that you have. We only have 8 hours a day. Some of us work substantially more. Some of us are on call. Some of us, are in 24-hour periods. Don't have, just your normal 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 day. Creating to-do lists, prioritizing those lists. I'll tell you, I'm not a to-do list person. I would spend more time creating that to-do list than just doing the tasks themselves. I do find if I have a particularly busy day, I'll just write down 5, 6 things I need to get done with very quickly in the morning. But I'm one of those people that will sit there and think for hours on what that to-do list looks like, prioritizing, organizing it. Because and I could have done half the things on the list by now. Scheduling time. How much time will something take? I know every medical record takes me 15 to 20 minutes to do. So I've got 30 of them to do. This is about how much time it's going to take me to do. Limit email. I have had many days I forgot to just I turn it over, and I close the app on my laptop because the little thing that I can turn it going, I just have sound, because even though I it's a distraction. Yeah, I need that I because that's because I can quickly delete something. Right. I need that. But really, I just ended up cutting it down, which is a hard part, but it gives me, I need that's the next thing to right. Because I've done my tasks, I've got 300 and I'm sweating bullets now that I have to do that. But, beggars can't be choosers. Use technology to avoid that procrastination, improve your technology skills. If you find that you struggle in some areas, IT is excellent. There are some really strong technologically savvy individuals in the agency that can help you do things. I hated Teams. I refused to use Teams for the longest time. I don't know how people use it. There are actual teams in the agency they use it to communicate back and forth. But they do it, and it's very efficient. So finding people that can help you or Googling it. I have somebody on my team who is proficient in everything technology, and I find I'm strong in technology, but he's even better. And I'll be like, this happens. Be better. And that's how I learned about the team's agenda. I started playing with it. We can't really break.
Is very good about posting SharePoint, either videos or screenshotted step-by-step instructions on how to do something. So if you're puzzled and you can't figure out how to do something, go to SharePoint because they're good about doing that. The thing he talked about by turning off your Teams invite, when you schedule a meeting or Zoom or something like that, it's step-by-step instructions on how to do that. We didn't get it at today's meeting, but they're very good about that. So there's a lot of helpful information on SharePoint.
So back to that SharePoint. If you don't know how to use SharePoint, find someone who does. There are a lot of our staff and even managers that don't know how to properly utilize SharePoint, where to find things. And granted, we have a very haphazard way of like categorizing things. And so we're working really hard to, and my program is working to like centralize where like agency policies and procedures are, so when they're everywhere and binders that are next to feeds. It's gonna take a lot of time. But get familiar with the SharePoint, open it up, show during management. Where to find something. You saw that I'll use your email command about this, or all managers on email command about this. This is how we're going to go in and find it. Things are labeled. I try to put pretty colors so they're not all the same colors. But I know a lot of people struggle with SharePoint, with just how to navigate it, how to find things. Is it IT? Is it QA? Is it HR? And even sometimes I'm like, I have no idea. I don't know there. Because I also don't have 20 minutes to sit and look. So familiarize yourself with it. Spend some time practicing. It's probably hard. Probably hard. But learn how to just say, I can't have it. Even when your team members ask you something, look, I'm going to get to you. Can you schedule some time on my calendar to talk about that? I can't address it right now. I'm swamped with stuff. So not necessarily, but like right now. And then incorporating breaks into your day. Some of us probably don't know what breaks are as frequently as we should. We are entitled to a lunch break. But you are entitled to step up and, go to your kitchen, get some water, do what you need to do. Because we just need that. And you should also encourage your staff to take breaks, of course, monitor for appropriate use of breaks. Everything comes down to what's appropriate and what's not appropriate for time. But encourage that. Do that. All right, so we're going to move on to leadership response etiquette. I don't know if everybody can read these. These are super fun. Because has anyone ever read an email and felt like, gosh, that was rude?
Yes.
Yeah, and those might have come from me. I try really hard not to. But sometimes feel some type of way when we write emails and when we receive emails, right? So you might just receive the email and you might automatically have this misconceived notion that they're just giving you the finger. I have said to other managers, your staff likes a smiley face next to everything. Is really because it can be condescending. It can be condescending. Type of email that's like, thanks so much. You were, wonderful help with a smiley face. That's really nice. But if they say like, this was the third time I had to fix this, but I got it fixed for you with a smiley face, I'm just like, it's done now. Exclamation mark. I like to do exclamation mark because it's just like me just being like, hey, thanks. I was hitting my like this, yelling. It's how we do things in our perception, our perception of things. Yeah. I have at least one person on my team who loves to say my last email, and I have to say time and time again, you're basically saying, are you blind? Can you read? Maybe refrain from doing it because it comes off as rude. It comes off as like, who are you? And we don't want to help, especially our managers, our administrators, our supervisors. We have to help people. We're not here to criticize them and be rude. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure they know they're not wrong. Why did they need to say that? There are people that do. Correct me if I'm wrong, because they know they're not, and they know you're not going to correct. So, your staff about how we respond to things really important, both how we write it and then how we internalize it. I know staff have kind of said, also think, okay, was it just how I was feeling at the time? Talk to your staff about, is it how you were feeling? Were you feeling when you got that email? Were you already frustrated with the situation? Or, was it really a routine?
And I think that breakdown happens more because we are more isolated, and because it's not like I just talked to you 5 minutes ago, or I miss you tomorrow. It's more of that I don't ever see you. Like when I get this email, I'm like, do I even know that person? And that makes it more.
So we're gonna talk about that.
This is what I need you to do.
We're
That's
really
it.
comfortable with that. We're really comfortable. We don't generally say good morning or good afternoon anymore. We sort of just put the email in there, and it took me writing this to realize, like, I have these habits of doing it because you just get into it because I'm so comfortable with you. I don't necessarily need to. I'm just responding, and I just, I need you to take care of this for me. Could you get it to me by, whatever day? We don't think that, they have the right to respect as well. Circling back to what Karen said, it's just important that we take the time to look at what we're writing, figure out, how we can improve it. I don't have to look at it. What?
Take a break. more emotional. It's like nothing like on fire. So just wait a minute.
So, a lot of us have staff, and I have one in particular that's responsible for finding errors. All their job is finding errors in our system. And so, immediately when you get an email from this individual that it's because of a problem that you potentially have created, or your staff have created. And so there's already this negative connotation to what's being written. And so people automatically are like defensive, like, wait. I know that's that. And you're trying to problem solve very quickly. And so you're already on the defensive when you're trying to respond. And sometimes we respond too quickly.
That's a fact.
Sometimes we just respond too quickly and we don't even have all of our facts straight. And sometimes there's errors in the work, what she sends out. But, it's important that we take a look at that as well. Any just sort of preconceived notions we have about people in general. If a director sent you an email, I sent an email, it may or may not be a good one. I don't know. But how are you going to respond? What kind of time are you going to take? So those are some general rules. We've talked about a lot of them. Using clear professional language. Don't mark an email that's urgent if it's not really urgent. I go by all my urgents first. So I tend to then avoid people who mark things as urgent consistently that are not urgent. You kind of go to the bottom of the list. So, it's use it when you need it. Proofreading. Do I need to say more?
No.
Tell your staff. Somebody brought up something in the last meeting that they had a staff that consistently did not proofread or write well in emails to people. And so she made sure that she sent them, that the staff had to send her the emails before they went out to anybody else, because they were going to not just interagency, they were going outside the agency to entities, the courts, lawyers. Please be mindful what we write in. And it's so important that we know this, because I do get that many medical records, like every day, every week. It's a lot. That what we write in emails, it's on our computers, it's open, it's fair game. Any subpoena that comes my way. And we have had instances with outpatient clinicians where there's, domestic disputes, domestic cases going before the court. And there have been a full subpoena for all records in the chart, in addition to any written correspondence related to that individual, via phone or email. And we have had to go back through text messages, back through emails. So important when we talk about clients, we have communication with a client, that it's extremely professional, because anybody could get access to it. And I'm the last person that wants to have to go before the judge, which I do, that says, yes, these records are accurate to the best of my knowledge. That's what they wrote. And then you get in trouble or you get subpoenaed to court, because then you need to talk about why you were talking to another employee about this client in this manner. Just be conscientious of that. Writing your emails before entering recipients. I have to do that now because I have this anxiety that I'm going to enter all the recipients in and like be typing and then lean on my computer and it sends because it's happened on a lot of occasions, more than I should count. It's just important, especially all users, all managers, like team. Enter, type everything first, proofread it first, and then enter what you said, and then hit send. Okay. We were sharing about being in what say had staff used because that was just a way of, because I was like, you're not writing emails like you're writing a text message to your same with progress note people. Like
Discharge.
Anything write professionally as much as possible. The leader. The correct names. Yeah. Never. I think it's delete their ticket, people. I see it. Yeah, it's so important, but I like that. That's a good thing. So, like for performance growth plan, for people who have considerable issues in that area, that's a great task that you could assign them. Is like Reliance training. It's awesome. Use Reliance to your ability. Stuff. Reliance is a really good thing. It is there. It really did there. Yeah. Good. Double checking you have the correct recipients. It's only happened a few times where I've seen like random people up there. I sent a slew of tickets to the HR help desk, not realizing that they didn't get any of them because I had the wrong recipient listed. It had like WTCB, it wasn't WTCSB. And so when I was like, why haven't you responded to the emails? Like, we didn't get any of them. And that was my fault. We own what we don't have. Andrew covered this, adding a signature block, please, especially for managers, admins, any of you guys, add a signature block, please. It doesn't even have to have the agency, but your name, like your title would be nice, so we know what you do. Put a phone number, an accessible one, not one that's like the CRC main number. See, like the CRC, but like your cell phone. We'd love to be able to call you. Or if we just need to reach someone, it would be nice to have a phone number listed up there. I hate the multi-factor authentication in Kronos. So it takes me time to then have to go log in, get the code, pull up your profile, find your phone number. If you have an agency phone, so please do that. It really helps us. I have this etiquette rule with my team that if I've gone back and forth with you like 3 times, I'm done. We're gonna talk on the phone. This is probably something that could just be resolved over the phone. I've been copied in a more than fair share of emails that are a waste of time. And I'm like, you could have just resolved this. You both don't understand. You don't understand what she's saying. She doesn't understand what you're saying. Just pick up the phone and call her. Right. It would just be easier for everybody. Technology is great, but a phone call is just as good.
And you know, Outlook and like organizational charts that who somebody is working for, and all that on the back end to be a lot easier, like you're trying to interface.
That actually came out at the end of our last meeting. That was actually a big recommendation that came out of the silos was knowing who each other is, because we had a lot of random programs in the last meeting. And I basically said to everyone, I said, can anyone raise their hand if they can name, 15 of our programs today? I don't know. Can anybody here do it? 15. We have over 108 programs, guys. She's in charge of it. Right. So that's something that, we did discuss. There, and like I said, we're taking back feedback from these, so we can really kind of figure out what, we need to do as an agency, cutting back the excuses, because, those Rolodexes that we used to use, you they were sitting on your desk, you go pull up the card and get the phone number. They were great. You don't have those anymore. You can create your own virtual Rolodex. So there's a lot of reasons why we can't do it. But one of the things is it does need to come up as something we do need. Yeah. The problem is people change so often. So we actually were talking about different ways that we can do, who we can hold responsible for doing that. So it's not an HR function, or, it might just be a program function. So we'll see. But yeah, there's over 108 programs in the agency. Actually, 109 just added the oh, I think yeah, extended community something different. Yeah, crisis stabilization and crisis. So 109.
Not crisis, stabilization.
So that's why it's that we read our emails. And if you have questions, because you don't know about it, it's down to on Friday.
Oh, they're about to say my emails.
But if you don't or you don't understand what a program does, how do you expect your staff to help you explain it to them?
That's right.
So it gives you an opportunity to say, hey, Ms. Luttrell, I saw your email about such and such. Can you hear a little bit more about it? To bring it up as an agenda item at your manager's meeting. All caps emails, please just don't do it. It's just not. Unless it's like congratulations. Everybody in the last meeting says you're basically yelling at somebody. I try to avoid all caps. I try to do like a bold, especially if it's a date or a deadline, or put in like something that stands out to you, versus all caps. And then if you have an attachment, don't let that attachment sit by away while your email's going on. I try to do like the body of the email, and I always reference an attachment in my emails. And I do that because when I go to send, if I didn't attach it, Outlook has a pop-up, it'll prompt, are you missing an attachment? And there are a lot of times I'm like, no, Outlook, stop. Yeah. I do not have an attachment on this one, but I referenced your attachment. But at least it tells you. So try and put all those pieces in before I put the recipients in, so I don't really mess up. There's really nothing more embarrassing than just like leaving it off, especially once I got the agency-wide email. All right, because I don't want to run out of time, and I want to be mindful of all viewers. Again, just remind your staff everything they put in email and text. It's not really that confidential. It's confidential, but not. We can find it. Where they go, their location. It's all on there. Verizon just sends this report. Just do what they need to do to stay as private as possible with the work that they're doing. Don't write anything ruinous to your staff or your clients. Just trying to be professional. Wait before responding if you just like see about something or you're a little upset. Take a breath. Wait a little bit. Don't forget about it because it'll just be rude. Before you respond, because we all have those moments. Trust me, we do. But we've all fired back very quickly, and we've all probably regretted it at least once. We were like, that one. Double check your email audience. If you're, management, administrator, director, review emails for appropriateness before forwarding. So I have learned that there are just certain people that I will send my emails to. It will just be like looping in so-and-so or forwarding it to them. And I'm like, did I want them to read that too? Could I have written that nicer? And so I learned really quick after the first time that happened, that is likely to happen. And so I don't want anybody, I just don't want a negative email going out. So I try and be professional, or if I have a concern or a complaint about something and I share it with a director, I'm making sure that email is very descriptive. It's very professional. So if they say, I'm going to loop in that manager and see what they've got, no hard feelings. Everybody's on the same page, and it's just clear. Think twice if you're hitting reply all. Sometimes we tend to add more people in than really necessary. I have a tendency more to just take people off emails and add people on, because there are just some people that will just add a lot of extra people for unnecessary reasons. I try to keep the drama to a minimum with emails, and then just be cautious of humor or sarcasm. Again, I've not seen it go well when we've had to pull records or emails, things like that. Sometimes we could joke, but especially in the context of clients and what clients are doing, you don't want anyone misreading a situation. All right, so we're going to quickly go through peer to supervisor. So we sort of talked about that uncomfortability and that the change that happens between being a peer and transitioning to a supervisor role or their manager. We work very closely with our staff. We work at least 40 hours. I mean, there are people that say they've got work wives, work husbands, because we're with them all the time. So naturally, you're going to build relationships with people. Friendships happen. So what are some ways that you guys have, these are all in management. I know a lot of you have not always been in management. What are some ways that you guys have adapted to building some stronger boundaries with your staff?
I just don't talk like I used to as a case manager. I could say, as a case manager, there are certain things that you could talk to your counterparts about. There are certain things you'd be like, man, this don't make no sense. But you can't really have that. You can't really have that conversation with the case managers as a manager. And as a manager, you don't know who else you could talk to in here and say those things to without it getting somewhere else. So it's just kind of a little lonely for me, a little bit. It is not in a negative way, because at home, I talk to my folks at home and say what I need to say, but
It gets lonely.
Because you can't, because there's things that you may not particularly agree with, but you have to push it. Like, you have to be like, yeah, we got to do this. Right. We have to support it. So to sit up here and act like you feeling something when you're not, that's been the hardest part for me. I don't know about for y'all, but
there's a way to do it, especially if you disagree, like in a team meeting. So I know some of you guys disagree with the situation. Let me get some of your feedback. How are you guys feeling? Okay, but do like, yeah, it gets lonelier the higher you get.
The state is doing this because we have to follow the state. It's not that Western Tidewater decided we were going to do this group. 20 assessments, one person, 3 hours. Yeah, I think we do make a lot of trying. I think it's know that the reason behind it, because they see what they see, their little world, and there is such much bigger. And I think that has helped.
That has helped me. My manager was like that.
Policy.
Yeah, and that's
it's the policy doing somebody.
Yeah.
I didn't.
A lot of the times, that's what I find myself saying. Like, this is a Western Tidewater policy.
Guys, oh, it sucks.
It's not the Navy policy. This is Western Tidewater. Yeah.
Accept together.
Yes.
Sorry, guys. Let's figure it out. I'll give you 15 minutes of our meeting to complain about it, and then we're gonna get on.
Right.
It is. So, just a quick scenario. So your team member and very close friend is always texting during meetings, which is affecting the team's output and his representation. And others have really commented that he seems disinterested in what you guys are talking about. So you want to say something, but you think things are going to get a little awkward, especially when you want to hang out in the evenings.
Oh, no. We don't have that conversation.
So if they weren't your friend, would you hesitate to say something? No, you wouldn't. You'd address it, right?
I'm going to say, what you got on that phone, girl? That's how I'm going to come to, like, what do you got on that phone? And then I'm going to go into, we're not supposed to have phones during the staff meeting open and you reading it.
And would your friend be supportive of that?
Well, no, because I don't really have it.
So hypothetically, friends should be respectful. Of your position. And so one of the things that I like to kind of talk about is these two hats, and I have done it. Like, I'll get a phone call and I'm like, all right, we're gonna take off my professional hat and put on my friend hat. Let's talk about that because it's a problem. So I like that. I'm wearing my work hat. I'm gonna put my work hat on, work hat off, or put my friend hat off, and I like that. But your friends should be respectful. I do also think it does blur the lines with conflict of interest if you've got a really good friend that is like your direct. I don't agree with it personally, but that's just my personal preference. I would prefer a really close friend of mine not being my direct. just like a family member would be my direct report. And that's sort of just always been my stance. I don't like it, gives me the ick. But of course, you don't want to move your job or lose your job, and you don't want them to lose their job. So you try to figure out ways of staying, absolutely. Well, a good friend would have boundaries and would be respectful and be excited for you. But these are the things I didn't agree with. By the way. So this is what they say you should do to avoid work boundaries like this is keep socialization to, the work hours, grabbing lunch with an employee, team happy hour, office holiday party, avoiding a one-to-one socialization. We are humans. Sometimes we just need one-to-one. But again, in what manner? Are you going to the bar, or do you guys have friends that have kids? Are you guys friends with kids, and you guys are going meeting up at Chick-fil-A and letting them play? What's really the relationship? Avoiding, TMI, keeping conversations positive and professional. That does not always happen. Because I don't know about you, but my conversations are always not positive and professional. It just happens. And then leading by example. Managers, we do have to follow very specific rules. That's why I really like going back onto this is the state mandate. Now, does the agency help make this a little bit more difficult? Sometimes. Sometimes we go a little bit too above and beyond. We take things out of assessments, just put things back in. It's still 3 hours. We haven't helped much. Or, just whatever we do, following policy and procedure is policy. And so I'm a big policy, I'm a big procedure person for that reason, because I can hold you accountable because I know you got it. And I don't have to say, well, it's not my fault or your fault. You just didn't follow this procedure. It's how it's written. I'm going to make a write it, but you have to follow. So those are ones I didn't quite agree with because we're humans. We like people generally. Some of us. So, all right, so we're going to finish up with interagency networking collaboration. So this is at silos. Did you know up to 20 hours per month are ways to do support collaboration and communication? It adds up to about 6 weeks per year being productive. It may not seem like a lot to you, but that's a lot. 6 weeks is a lot. Silos, what are they? Lone Rangers. What? Like a Lone Ranger? Yeah. Yeah, it's somebody who's sort of sitting out there by yourself. Silos are everybody in this room who didn't know each other's program existed. Because there's not enough. I mean, we know that we know case management exists, but did everybody in this room know that Skip expanded to I-8 schools? I didn't see every head in this room shake. So most of you were here. You did. Most of us. Yeah, it is. It's coming up next. Those are those emails. Read them. Keep the emails. Let me just caveat this. Keep your emails like somewhat brief. Do the point. Don't write books, paragraphs. Sometimes mine are long. Sometimes it's got detail in it, but really like facts. Keep it simple, straight to the point. So we encourage people to read them. We got rid of the Incredible newsletter because it was so long, and we heard that people weren't really reading it. Just like if you want to do that, Incredible news. Well, so we combined it with the QA newsletter, so Incredible still gets a section without being like overly like, oh my gosh. So the existence of silos can be confirmed in 4 main areas. So delaying the achieved results as an agency. Rivalry, not so much. Discourse, yeah. Do they ever feel that there's some discourse between teams in our agency? Well, good. You can't say that. That means you had a positive experience.
I'm telling you, I haven't had any.
Where do you think the discourse comes from? Exist?
Not understanding each other's role.
Yeah, communication. That's the foundation. This is really the part that we want to take back, because this is the part that I can't fix it if I don't know it exists, or I think it exists, but I don't really know what the main cause is. But yeah, we do have discourse between teams, and that may be at the manager level, maybe at the director level. Like, where is this discourse and how is it trickling down to everybody else because it's souring a lot of things. Inefficient use of resources is just a general, we don't maybe have the best use of resources. And then confusion. Does anyone ever feel confused? Yeah. You feel confused. How do you think your staff? And then how are you supporting them in that confusion? Because they might not be telling you the rules. So part of your management meetings might be wise to have some like, are you guys confused? Do you guys have anything? Like any ways we can improve this? What do you need? And whether they say it or not, they may not. But having that more frequent conversation.
Not telling you they're confused.
Correct.
You gotta understand that. I mean, because a lot of staff,
They don't know what they don't know, honestly.
right? They don't know what they don't know, but they also don't want to appear unknowledgeable to their managers or to their supervisors. So they may not ask the right questions.
Do I feel like that might be an issue in your own team's dynamic? You to fix that. I mean, this is really, what can we do to help with that? I mean, obviously we need like a digital Rolodex. That might help. But what would help you learn 15 different programs in this agency? What would help you do that?
You invite those programs to your meeting.
Invite those programs to your meeting. That's a lot of us used to do that. When I ran service access, I was like in everybody's team meetings. You know, service access is a really good place because service access needs to know what's happening in the agency. They need to know pretty much every program and everything that has happened. They, way back when I supervised it, I had created this like eligibility that went through all the programs in our agency. Thank you. I do too. It needs to be updated, but I don't work there anymore, so I don't keep it updated. So I created one of those for service access because they are really supposed to be the, like the knowledge of what's going on in the agency, what programs we have. But that's great for that division. It's great for that team. It's great for the assessors and internal referrals and everything. But it's not good for everybody else who doesn't have that same opportunity to be expert in what's happening in the agency. Probably not. It's been about a year and a half since I made it. 2 years maybe. I know Courtney has that we might need to just update it as part of like a business development task. Because it didn't break down like this is, yeah. But maybe we need to do something like that. But it has like case management, it has our ACT programs, skill building, PSR. So it's got all these different programs in there. It needs to be updated because I know we're clearly missing like specialized PSR, ILOA, skip. So, like I said, I haven't been around there for a while. But it was a great way to be able to pass it along to your staff as a good reference. And I still refer back to it. It's not even that updated. Because I just like to know, like, what do we have going on in the agency?
The eligibility criteria versus having to look at the
Nobody knows. Does anyone know where to access their program's regulations? Obviously. Yeah, that's important. That is something, Jessica. So that is something that's really important that we in QA are going to bring to the next module, whatever that is, maybe June, July, whatever, before I go out. Sometime in August, so you guys have to wait a whole another year. The regs for where you can find information on program requirements, because we get lost because we just don't know. We don't really know where to find things or look for things. So that's where we'll cover some of that in our incident reporting course training coming up in another module. So is there anything that you can think before we close that you feel might be helpful for leadership, specifically the directors, to discuss about collaboration, that communication? We're putting a lot of effort into communication. Some people may have had an opportunity to attend with who manage their website, all of them communication. But where can we improve? What do you want to see happen? And then do you know, do you need to go talk to your staff about it? Where can we improve? And then maybe you guys can bring it back to us.
And a lot of times I do use her method as well as notifying them like, okay, this is state regulation. You know, we've been talking about the shift, all that good stuff and trying to, because they're not in the meeting. So the staff is like, okay, well, what is this? Or we try to put that on them. But a lot of feedback I get from the staff sometimes is wanting to be heard from their staff. I think somebody at the Lunch and Learn mentioned having a town hall with just the staff. You know, we sit in the meetings and we, you know, take the information back to them, but sometimes it's good to hear, or I know specifically for my team, I allow them to what their concerns. But overall, as an agency, maybe the staff can utilize that to have like the town hall meeting for staff. They can be heard from their staff. What?
Well, what I'd encourage you to do is, you know, your next meeting with your staff, talk to them about these topics, the silos, ask them about what programs we have, and ask them if the same issues are communication and confusion. And then ask them, what can we do to fix it? And then let's maybe
I don't know what to call it, but it was because you asked. And every employee was allowed to post a question to the agency. Now, you know, sometimes stuff just, you know, it's professional. But the person that moderated it, that was so professional. I don't know if that's something, I mean, I think stuff can get some bad stuff. At least like they have a form to ask boys. So that might be something to think about too.
The survey.
But you right, 85 responses out of 800 employees. So they're not helpful if staff don't complete them.
if we were to send those out, would it, as a manager, would you say, guys, we're in our meeting right now. I need you all to go take that. So we have to step up and find the time to encourage them to do it. If we're not encouraging them to do it, they're not going to do it. That's an extra step in their workday. That's an extra task. They don't, not necessarily just don't want to do, but just don't feel like it's a priority and have to do. Because not everything's just because people don't want to do things. You know, staff aren't here just to, I don't want to do it. But sometimes it just doesn't feel like a priority now to do. And then we either forget about it, I know that's my problem. Forget about things that I just didn't do. That would take 5 minutes. So we can't improve if we don't actually hear the feedback from staff. But we know we live in silos because we don't know what's going on.
And when you have your staff meetings and you allow your staff to vent about whatever is going on, are you taking that information back to your managers or supervisors or directors so they're aware?
Not always say, oh, anybody can be playing. Yeah.
So that has, you know, it has to go up as well as information has to go down. You know, if we're not aware of an issue as leadership, we can't address it. So if the information isn't coming up about what the issues are, we can't address it going down, as well as, you know, you guys can't address things as we push things down if you're not aware that they're an issue. So, because we see things differently than what you guys do or your staff do. So always push it up. And if you feel like your manager or supervisor or director is not hearing you, submit a help desk ticket. Now that, an HR help desk ticket. Now that doesn't always mean that HR is going to be able to solve your problem, because I'm not going to say that we can, but you know, we can bring it to leadership and let other directors and other administrators know that this is a problem, especially if we keep hearing the same thing from different managers or for different programs.
All week. We're going to.
Right.
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody. Hopefully you learned something. We're a little over. Over the same amount of time it was last too. I'm going to figure out how to stop all this. So anyone, you know, everybody feel free to wrap up, but anyone who'd like to stay, I'll show, I'm going to try and figure out how to get Teams up here and show you guys how to do an agenda on Teams.